In the opening chapter of Genesis, the Torah makes an extraordinary statement. God created humanity in God's image. Does this mean that we look like God? Shalom, my friends. Yes, or perhaps this week I should open with no.
No.
Being created in the image of God does not mean that we look like God. In the image of God is only 2 words in the Hebrew Bible, but they are so packed with meaning that it will take more than one video to fully discuss. But let's talk today about one layer of meaning. We are created in God's image. We hear these words so often that it's easy to miss how radical they are. Because the Torah does not say that only the righteous are created in God's image. It doesn't reserve that distinction for kings or prophets or great scholars. It says human beings, every human being is created, B'Tselem Elohim, there's the 2 Hebrew words. Every human being is created in the image of God. Of course, for us as Jews,
You certainly don't look Jewish. Oh, thank you very much.
this can't mean that we physically resemble God. Jewish tradition insists that God has no physical body. So what does it mean? First, it means that every person possesses an inherent and sacred dignity. Our worth doesn't depend on what we earn or accomplish, on what we own or what we contribute. And it doesn't disappear when we become weak or dependent or even difficult. Before we know anything else about another person, we already know something essential. This person bears the image of God. But there's more to being created in God's image. It carries with it a great responsibility. Human beings have the capacity to choose, to create, to speak, to love, and most importantly for our next video, to distinguish between right and wrong. We can imagine a world different from the one we inherited, and then help bring that world into being. So in that sense, we imitate the divine creator. We reflect God's image when we create rather than destroy, when we bring order out of chaos, and when we respond to suffering with compassion. We reveal it when we tell the truth, even when lying would be easier, when we protect someone vulnerable, and when we forgive another person or even ourselves. This teaching also changes how we encounter people. If every person bears God's image, then no one can be reduced to a label. A person is never merely an opponent or a burden or a diagnosis or a political category or a problem to be solved. Even if we strongly disagree with someone, we remain obligated to recognize their humanity. Now, this does not mean approving of every choice or ignoring injustice. Human dignity does not eliminate moral accountability. In fact, it deepens it. We can oppose harmful behavior without denying the sacred worth of the person responsible for it. We can demand justice without surrendering our own humanity. Perhaps the hardest place to recognize the divine image is within ourselves, because we know our failures and our insecurities all too well. But the Torah does not say that we become God's image only when we're perfect. It says that this is how we were created. Our mistakes might obscure that image temporarily, but they can't erase it. We always retain the capacity to return, to repair, and to begin again. So the question is not merely whether we believe that human beings are created in God's image. The deeper question is whether people can tell that we believe it by the way we treat them. Can they hear it in our words? Can they see it in our patience? Can they feel it in the room we make for their dignity? May we learn to recognize the image of God in every person, including those we find difficult, those who are overlooked, and yes, including ourselves. And may the choices we make help reveal the divine image within each and every one of us. My friends, if you have any thoughts with regard to this very important subject, please leave them in the comments box. I will respond to everyone who comments. If you found this video worthy of if you found the video worthy of serious consideration, and I hope that you did, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, which helps us to get our videos in front of more people, and also help the channel with a subscription if you've not done so already. It's very easy to do. You need to be logged into YouTube, but assuming you are, subscribe to the channel by clicking on my face, which appears right over here. Or watch another video by clicking on its icon right over there. As ever, until next time, Shabbat Shalom.